guys, my name is Kelly Dale and I'm owner of Off the Beaded Path, which is located in Forest City, North Carolina. For today's video, I want to show you how you can take the Kumihimo wrap bracelet from last week and make it and convert it into a necklace at any time you want. This is a very easy little, I guess you would call it component or slider to add to the piece. All you need is 14 4mm bicones and some seed beads that you had left over from your project last week. I'm going to be doing one that I actually used for my written pattern. I'm going to be using one of those colors, so you'll just need that and some 10-pound fire line. You're also going to need a snap, okay? And when I say snap, I mean like sew-on snaps like this right here. I bought a cart of these at my local craft store, and these come in a size, I'm assuming I'm reading this right, in a 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, smallest being the smallest, whatever. If I don't, forgive me. I don't know how to read these little cards. They just put the stuff at the bottom. But anyways, you want to use this medium-sized snap right here. That one right there. That's what you want to use. You don't want to use the smallest, but you don't want to use the biggest. And you definitely don't want to buy this with the really big ones. It says this is a size 4, okay? So, you're going to need one of those, and whether you want silver or black will depend upon what color seed beads you're using. So far, all I've used is silver, but like I said, you can get that at your local craft store. If you buy a kit from us this week, that one will actually be in your kit, so you won't have to worry about that. But go ahead and get your materials together, and then I'm going to show you the component and show you how it works, and then show you how to do it. So go ahead and get your materials together, and we'll get started. So this is the actual snap component, and as you see, I have a snap here and a snap here, so that once you actually fold it together and press it, they snap together so that it completes a circle. Now you'll see there's an overlap here on the back and there's no crystals on the back. That's because you have to have the overlap for the snap, and number 2, you don't want crystals scratching up against your body, so that's why they're only around the front and the sides. So what happens is if you take your wrap bracelet from last week, you can take and put the component or the slider onto it, so that now when you wear it, you can wear it as a necklace, and you can wear it as high up or as low as you want it to, because it's not going to slide off of your piece. It's very important when you're working with these as to the brand that you're using, the brand seed beads. What I've come up with is I've come up with these using the Toho seed beads. They're a little bit more squared off. If you use the Miyuki seed beads, they're a little bit more rounder, so you may have to play with the count of beads here, because you want this so that it'll be loose enough to slide, but at the same time it's not going to be so big that it's going to slide off your piece. So I've started out with 2 yards of thread onto my needle, and I'm going to thread on 1 size 8 seed bead. I'm going to bring it down and leave myself, well, don't pull it off. You're going to bring it down and leave yourself about a 3 to 4 inch tail, and you're going to go back through that same bead again so that it becomes your stop bead. Now, even though it's your stop bead, we're going to consider this as bead number 1 in our peyote stitch. I want 6 total beads, so I've got to pick up 5 more. And I'm going to let those 5 drop all the way down, so that when you look, you have 2, 4, 6 beads. Now we start even count flat peyote stitch. So I'm going to pick up 1/8. I'm going to skip bead number 6, and I'm going to go back through bead number 5, working back towards the tail. And when I pull these, I want to make sure that the new bead sits on top of the old bead. Pick up 1/8. I'm going to skip bead number 4 and go through bead number 3. And as you can see, I'm putting my fingers on the bead so that they don't get discombobulated as I work. So as you can see, the new bead sits right over the old bead. Pick up one bead, skip bead number 2, and go through bead number 1. This is the bead that is your stop bead. Pull that on through. So now you have your first 2 rows of peyote stitch. Now we're going to work back the other direction. You pick up 1/8, go through the bead that's sticking up, and again get it caught on everything on your bead mat. Pick up 1/8, come through the next bead that's sticking up, and then pick up 1/8 and come through the final bead that's sticking up. So that this is what you have so far. And you'll continue to work zigzag back and forth until you have, let me double check here so I don't tell you wrong. You want to have 45 rows, or when you lay it flat like this in front of you, you want 23 beads at the top and 22 beads at the bottom. If you need help with peyote stitch, refer to some of my older videos, as I won't explain it here because most of you know how to do it. So go ahead and do 45 rows or 23 along the top and 22 beads along the bottom. So I have my strip of, like I said, either 45 rows, or you would have 22 on one side and 23 on the other side. And I'm ready to add the first part of my snap. Now, when you purchase your snap, you'll see there's snaps on the front, and the second part is on the back. So you snap it off, and then you're ready to start working. Now, as you can see, there is a male part, and we're not gonna go over the differences here. There's a male part and there is a female part, okay? Now, when you use the female part like this, they're gonna snap together, just like this. And they snap apart in this way. So, when you stitch on the female part, you want to lay it down just like this. So basically, we're going to tack this part of the snap to our beadwork. And how we do that is I'm going to use the needle and I'm going to stitch down to come out. If I lay the snap on top, I want it to be near the end, but I don't want it to be so close that it's going to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up through the first hole of the snap. As you see, it's got 4 holes. And we're going to be using all 4 of those holes. So I'm going to add go through the first hole, and I'm going to let it drop down, and I'm going to go through the second hole and then down through the beadwork. So I'm not actually going through any beads yet. I'm just going through the beadwork. So that now I can kind of see where it's going to lay and what beads that I need to go through here. So I'm going to come through a bead here on the bottom. And so now you can see that it's attached there. Then you're going to come up through the next hole, and whether you come up through this hole or this hole, it doesn't matter. But you're going to come up through the next hole, go down through the 4th hole, and then through the beadwork. So when you pull it, now it connects the snap to the beadwork. But you really have to be vigilant about this, and you want to make sure that as you work, you stitch this on really, really well. This is going to get a lot of pull and tug when taking it on and off. So you want to make sure that you go through and you reinforce and really get this thing connected well. Let me grab the gold one here so you can see. And you're going to see the thread, okay? You see my thread there. and then my thread there. So you're going to see the thread, but once it's snapped, you don't see any of that. Okay, you don't see any of the thread or anything like that. So go ahead and tack your the female part of this snap to your beadwork and make sure it's really good. So I now have my snap completely attached, and I feel confident that it's not going to budge. So I'm going to stitch from where I'm coming out. I'm going to stitch up through my beads to where I'm coming out of the 6th bead here along the top. And I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to show you that there's a mistake in my beadwork right there. And I'm not taking it out. I'm going to be a little rebel. All right, so 1, 2, 3rd bead, 4, 5. All right, so this is the 6th bead, and you want to be coming out going towards the top of your piece. Now I'm ready to start adding crystals. So I'm going to pick up a size 8, a 4mm, and a size 8. I'm going to count 5 from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to go through that 5th bead from the top because I want these to run at a diagonal. Now, if you hold it straight up like this or straight down like this, you can see just a little bit of thread on the top and the bottom. For everything I've done so far, the thread's blended in with my beads. It doesn't show like that right there. So, if this bothers you, you can put either a size 11 or a size 15 seed bead at the top and the bottom of this, but you know what, it don't bother me, so oh well. I'm coming out of this bead, so I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come right down through the very next bead along the top. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to pick up an 8, a 4mm, and an 8. I'm going to come down through the next bead along the bottom. So just here was the one I was worked with a minute ago. So now I'm going to come to the very next one. Now as you can see, your beads are going to lay at a diagonal. Come up through the next bead. Pick up an 8, a 4mm, and an 8. Go up through the next available bead on the top. You're going to do this all the way down until you have 14 crystals added along the top. And as you work, it's not going to be flat like this anymore. It's going to start to dome up. So don't try and flatten it out as you work. Let it dome naturally and do its own thing. I've got my 14 crystals added on the front of the piece. And as you can see, now it's not flat anymore. And that's completely fine because once it's around in the circle, that's going to be exactly what you want. You want it to look just like this. So, what you want to do at this point is you want to stitch just a few beads over, and you are going to tack the male part of the snap to the front. Okay, so this is going to be opposite. So our female part is on the back on one end. We've added all of our crystals. Now the male part is going to be on the front here near the end. So go ahead and tack this piece into place just like we did on the first piece. Now that I have this piece tacked down the way it needs to be. So I've stitched my needle here to the top so that my working thread is coming out of one bead and the tail is coming out of the end bead. And I'm going to take my needle and I'm just going to pull that thread so that it pulls it out so it's not actually connected to the bead anymore. And all I'm going to do is take these two threads and I'm going to tie these into a couple of really good knots. And once I get these tied, then I'll take each thread and I'm going to stitch it through a few beads before I trim off these Once tails. You have your tails done in, then check your snap, double check it, make sure it's good to go, and then you're ready to attach it to your bracelet. So I lay one side down, snap it into place, and then move it either up or down so it goes to exactly the place you want it to. Now I've done just a basic slide for this necklace. You can always add fringe to the top and the bottom, or little picots, or you can add different beads here, kind of whatever you wanted to do. I just wanted to be able to take and show you how, if you didn't necessarily like it as a wrap bracelet, how you convert it into a necklace. And so let me get all my little pieces over here so you can see them again. Here was the gold one. I used clear on this one. And again, all you do is lay them on and snap it together. So there you go. There are your finished necklaces. I wanted to show you the color options that we'll have available as kits for the necklace this week. We have a really pretty silver line sapphire with the light sapphire bicones, a crystal rose gold lined with the purple light bicones, and this is one of my favorite new colors. This is the light topaz sea foam lined. It's got a really cool look to it, and we've got the golden flare bicones that go to it. So you'll get enough in the kit to make the wraparound bracelet and the component. So you'll get enough to do the whole bracelet or necklace with the component. So I hope you guys enjoyed the project. We will have the pattern and kits available on our website, offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com, so that you can get those. Now, just a quick reminder, because a lot of people, are buying and then emailing us with questions. If you purchase a pattern off of our website, it's an instant download, which means as soon as you purchase it, you get sent a confirmation email that tells you exactly how to download it. There's no waiting. It's basically just like how Etsy does theirs now. You can just, as soon as that payment's received, you can download your pattern. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again next time for another great video. Bye-bye.